And this week was a big week in high school sports. A lot of national signings going on. And it's kind of interesting. We had certain things in our mind where people were going to go. And sometimes you never know until they actually do the signing.
Yeah.
And this year, we had a few surprises. Like James Robinson is going to Illinois State.
Mm-hmm.
Parchman is going to, let me see, I got Northern Iowa, right? Alfonso Lambert going to Northern Iowa.
Yep.
And Jawan's going to go the junior college route. He's going to Iowa Wesleyan, also along with the big guy from Harlem, 6'8", Anthony McKinney. So they've been doing their homework in the area. They're
Yes, they have.
a connection.
Yep, definitely.
But it's interesting signing week.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's why you hear so many rumors during this time of year. This player's going here, this player's talking to this school, this and that, and you never know. But I do think it's good, when you see some of these kids going out. Obviously the big one I think is Robinson. There was lots of other rumors, that kind of stuff. But Illinois State was in on this the whole time. And you're talking about one of the top, what is it, FCS now, I think they are. Used to be 1AA.
It's one step below the big guys.
Football championship subdivision, I think they call it.
And not this year, but the year before they lost in the national championship.
Exactly, and they were pretty good this year too. So you're talking about a really, really good team.
And they got a coach that's from Rockford East.
Right.
Slattery's there, kicker's there, so they recruit here.
Yep, exactly. And honestly, there'll be a chance for him to get on the field quickly there, I think, more so than if he went to some Division I school where maybe he'd have to redshirt, and then even after that, maybe he sits out a year or two. Maybe they want to change him to a defensive player or something like that.
And you wonder if they look at the foot injury that he had late in the year. Sometimes that scares off recruiters. It's all kinds of stuff is out there.
And you always have the smaller school thing. They played in the smaller school, smaller conference, this and that, which we've talked about, plenty of times. But at the end of the day, too, you're also looking at a smaller school that, that's had great seasons the last few years, but they obviously didn't accomplish the goals that they wanted to. And unfortunately, you wonder how much that plays into a factor, too, that he didn't get to play on that big stage in a state championship game, that kind of thing.
And Alfonso Lambert and James Robinson could meet because they're both in the Missouri Valley.
Exactly.
So that'll be interesting. I had a chance while I was doing this. We did a signing page, so we put everything on one site. Lamar Conrad, the Illinois State assistant coach, running backs, and recruiting coordinator for Illinois State, talks about James Robinson. There's a little music in the background, but this is from their site, and we have it up here, and we'll listen to why Lamar Conrad thinks that James Robinson's a good pick for Illinois State.
James has come to our camps, the WROK Spec football camps here for the past 3 years. He is the real deal. Physical, downhill runner. Will remind of a lot of you guys out there of Ashton Leggett. Just physical. When he hits you, you feel it. When he sticks his foot in the ground, you feel it. Big smile on his face, sharp kid, Rockford product, hometown of our head coach, Brock Spack. We look forward to having him join our team, and I'm excited to have him as part of my running back group.
So you can see that James Robinson, they like him over there. Yeah. I think they probably found the goose that laid the golden egg. It's one of those deals where they weren't expected probably to get a James Robinson, and they do.
And those kind of things happen every year. You see it across the country where some kid that's either a freshman or maybe he's not playing until he's a sophomore, junior, whatever, but playing at some small school or whatever, or these 1AA schools where they're just incredible. And you're like, boy, how does a player like this end up at this place and not at one of the big time schools? But this is how it happens. It's just these guys just slip through the cracks sometimes. I'm not guaranteeing success for James Robinson or anything like that, but this is how it happens. They slip through the cracks and maybe don't get as much interest as they thought, and all of a sudden at Illinois State now you got the all-time leading rusher in the state of Illinois in high school, and a guy that a lot of people thought was going to be playing in the Big Ten or at least the MAC. Now he's going to be playing in the Missouri Valley there with Illinois State. I think it's a good get. But honestly, for James too, I know some people are going to look at that and say, boy, I'm surprised they didn't go somewhere bigger. But, honestly, what's the better option? Going there, one of the top, FCS schools, being able to get on the field in a year or two.
Rockford coach.
Maybe right away he can get on the field, or going to somewhere like in Iowa who was rumored around him, or going to one of the MAC schools where, maybe he has to redshirt and then maybe even sit out 2 more years after that. Maybe he has to go play safety as opposed to running back like he wants to do. I mean, it's a better option for him. Same thing with Alfonso Lambert. Northern Iowa is always one of the top schools in FCS as well. That's a great get for them, because again, he's a Division I player, he's a kid that maybe could have gone to, Illinois or again, gone to a MAC school, something like that. But again, maybe he's a little undersized. Maybe he's got to sit for a while. Maybe he only has to sit a year at Northern Iowa and turn into a really, really good player for them. He can develop. And honestly, the best way to develop is by getting on the field. And, sometimes you don't get those options at the bigger schools.
And Boylan, they continue to pump out kickers. Sean Slattery, as we mentioned, Illinois State, Derek Dimke, and they've had some other ones. But Boylan's Justin Knopf. He's a kicker. He's 5'10", 153. I think that's with his uniform on, is what they tell me. They're very high on him, and so they signed him. They'll probably redshirt this coming year. Mm-hmm. And he's one of those guys, probably didn't get a lot of attention the last couple of years because Boylan wasn't the Boylan in the past, but he's very consistent. And Derek Dimke, I contacted him, and he gave me a nice quote about Justin, and he thinks a lot of him, thinks he's got a lot of potential, and, Derek's a really good resource to have in our community because he knows what it's like. He went through the whole big deal, but he's really excited about Justin going there. You can check it out on Stateline Sports Hub. There's a complete page of all the signings, but when you get a kid like Boylan's Justin Knopf to go to Northern Illinois, and that's one of the quality MAC schools right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it exactly is. They're always one of the top ones. And real quick, so you're going through the signings, Jefferson, put some kids out there.
6 of them.
Yeah, and that's big. I know they've been down and haven't been doing as well, but that's big to get that, again, not predicting any kind of success or anything like that, but you think back to Pino's first year, and obviously, they didn't do as good as, this year with the new coaching staff as Pino did his first year. But one of the big things that came out of that first year for Pino was they got some kids to college, and they really played that up, and it really built some excitement around the program, and it started showing kids that, hey, we can use this as a way to get to that next level. Even the kids that don't have the NFL dream, but they can get to college, and get that education, better their life, that kind of thing. So that's big for Jefferson, and that could spell some things down the road for them that maybe get some more kids excited, get some more kids that are a little bit more dedicated now, get more kids out on the field, those kind of things. I think that's a big day for Jefferson.
Yeah, Des Moore, Tavon Jordan, Alan Taylor, Austin Hensley, Trey Gordon, and Kamani Williams all going on to play college football. And one that the Illinois fiasco created, Josh Black, 6'2", 235-pound defensive lineman, transferred his commitment from Illinois to Syracuse. He's going there with Dino Babers, who was at Bowling Green and was recruiting him at the time. Mm-hmm. And that's probably a really good move. And that's probably why we got some changes in some of the commitments, is the fact that Illinois is screwed up.
I think that's another one that could be a kind of a diamond in the rough, not predicting Dean Lowry type of success for him on the defensive line, but again, a kid that's probably going to redshirt, a little bit undersized, but you're going to a program that's down in Syracuse. There's going to be opportunity for him to play. And I tell you what, there's times when you saw him on the field this year where, teams couldn't do anything with him. He was a wrecking crew out there. And I think that's the kind of kid that he's going to get there. He's going to put a little bit of weight on, that kind of stuff. And I think he can turn into a big-time ball player there at Syracuse.
And also, Hononegah's Shaler Burnell's going to Southwest Minnesota State University. Yep. They hold in a lot of local talent, including the suburbs. So they've been checking out this part of the country.